While in the midst of eliminating a terror threat to our nation that has been threatening us for 47 years, liberating 90 million Iranians and about 100 million goats, quite the unbelievable amounts of unfurling has been happening on the world stage, which basically completely confirms the idea that this is the battle of our time. This is the Great Crusade. These people are in our countries, and this is the moment where a lot of people are going to be picking sides. Iran has named a new supreme leader in our battle. Also, in other news, a lot of other developments war-wise and also homeland-wise. There was an ISIS-style terror attack in New York City, to which Zoran Mamdani just did a nice press conference where he blamed white supremacy. More morons are crashing out over the idea, oh my god, no, how dare you kill guys that were directly trying to kill us, no. But quite literally, your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer. Massive deep dive for today. I hope you've been appreciating the new style of content where I've just been doing unbelievable deep dives on all the things every day. But unfortunately, someone needs to cover it in the style that I am, all right? I present the facts. I urge you to make up your own mind, but I will be stating my opinion because it's the correct one. There are radicals of a specific religion that wants to kill us. Now, some of that religion is in the Middle East trying to make weapons to kill us, and some of that religion was imported into our countries. Now, isn't that just a funny coincidence? So, let's do a deep dive. We got so much to do. All right, starting off strong, Mojtaba Khamenei is the new Ayatollah of Iran. Congratulations, this is Khamenei's son, the new guy. He's already injured, and he's not long for this world. So, we have to cover this immediately. I need to get this video out as soon as possible because for all I know, by the time this video's out, Mr. Mojtaba over here is gonna be fucking dead. All right, just be realistic here. We gotta be fast. So that means, despite the fact that they were saying they wanted to surrender and they were telling us they wanted to negotiate and they told all their Arab neighbors that they were so sorry about the attack, spoilers, they continued attacking their Arab neighbors, turns out they lied because they literally put into power a guy just as radical as his dad, hello, Mr. Khamenei, hello, we will be sending you to your dad very soon. Now, I know that a lot of people are going to be upset. Nux, I can't believe you're celebrating deaths of people. No, yes, we've been over this already. Yes, we celebrate the deaths of people that try to kill us. Absolutely. God, and over the virtue signaling and the leftoid bullshitting, okay, all right. Man, I really need to hear the opinion of a leftist that murders her own children with a nose ring. Tell me how, no, I'm not actually supposed to be happy about killing the terrorist pedophiles that are trying to kill us. Quite literally, don't care, been over it, virtue signaling, accomplished, good job, guy. You celebrate the assassination of Charlie Kirk and you're mad that literally a terrorist pedophile in the Middle East that's trying to kill us is dead. Your opinions mean nothing. We've been over it, yada yada, get that shit out of the way, moving on, I see it every single day. Fun fact, here is the 100 million pound London mansion the new Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei has in Billionaires Row. Hey Keir Starmer, why aren't you seizing it just like you did to the Russian properties? Wow! Is it maybe, perhaps, questionably because Iran's biggest ally right now on the world stage is actually the United Kingdom? That's right, not Russia. Russia's not lifting a finger to help. Not China. China's not lifting a finger to help. But don't worry, because at least they have their homeboys over there in the United Kingdom. I know we meme a lot, we make jokes, but the United Kingdom might be the first Islamic nation that's a nuclear threat to America. I'm not gonna lie. So, Donald Trump, when you're finished with Iran, all right, and you liberated Cuba, all right, which is next, obviously, and then maybe Nicaragua after that, all right, whatever, but pencil in Keir Starmer at some all right? No, Mr. Netanyahu, if you're listening, I have reason to believe that Keir Starmer is only days away from a nuclear weapon. There is whispers that Keir Starmer might be the next Ayatollah. We gotta liberate the good people of the United Kingdom immediately. All right, I laugh, but there's a reason why the United Kingdom is not actually taking action against Khamenei's multi-billion-dollar houses in in England. And the reason is simple. It's because they actually kind of secretly support him, which is why they didn't want to ally with us in our original strikes. I know. Pretty weird. All these protests in Iran actually started because the financial system collapsed, right? There was no money. But interestingly enough, the leaders are all multi-billionaires. Wow. It's like Hamas. They have the same shtick. The leaders of Hamas, all billionaires. The actual soldiers and people in Gaza, poor as fuck. Kind of weird how that's happening. It's almost like they're terrorists suppressing their own people or something. But don't worry, because we got some third worlders defending these guys, which we're going to talk about soon. Meanwhile, Jordan is under an IRGC attack right now, which is pretty weird. Why would Iran strike Jordan? It's almost like they're terrorists or something. Wow, couldn't believe it. It's probably the Jews' fault. Breaking news, Qatar informed the U.S., this is insane, it plans to expel Hamas leaders after the group refused to condemn Iran's attack on Qatar. This is one of the craziest twists. For those of you that don't understand the geopolitics of the Middle East, this is absolute insanity. So Hamas is a terror organization that was, living in Gaza, that started the October 7th Gaza war with Israel because they decided to unleash a nightmare terror attack. They've been in power for the last 20 years, firing missiles and rockets indiscriminately at civilians in Israel, and October 7th was the breaking point when they unleashed a horrible terrorist attack, and then the war started in Gaza. Now, a lot of people cry and complain that, oh no, way more people in Gaza died than in Israel. Yeah, that's what's called winning a fucking war. I'm not going to sit here and wring hands with people about how, no, actually, we're supposed to fight fair against terrorists that are murdering and no, there's no such thing as a fair fight. If it's a fair fight, then you fucked up. You want to crush your enemy with overwhelming force. So yes, a lot more Palestinians than Israelis died, and that's because Hamas decided to start a war like retards, and they lost miserably. Now, Hamas leadership, actually, were never in harm's way. They were actually living big in Qatar, because Qatar literally had no issue housing those guys, because it's not like Qatar liked Israel. This was no secret. Qatar and Israel didn't exactly get along either. In fact, Qatar is the ones that's largely funding a lot of our propaganda in our colleges, and why everyone is getting churned out in our universities in the United States are being churned out to be like these Islamist sympathizing groomed retards is because the number one largest donor to our universities in the United States is actually Qatar. They've been donating billions of dollars a year to United States universities. I wonder why we have an Islamism problem on the left. But anyway, that's a deep dive for another time. I'm giving you all the lore. That's why you're here. So definitely subscribe for more lore. The real lore is, despite the fact that Hamas was an Iranian proxy, Qatar had no problem housing the leadership. Now, the Hamas leadership doesn't condemn the Iran attacks on Qatar, and Qatar is very upset. It seems like, by the Iran actually striking all of their neighbors indiscriminately and being retarded terrorists, like we all knew they were, it seems like by accident, the entire Middle East is aligning right now under the flag of the great US of A. God bless America. It seems like Israel and Qatar and Jordan and Lebanon are all kind of working together to expel these Iranian terror threats throughout the Middle East, right? Israel right now is attacking in southern Lebanon, attacking Hezbollah, an Iranian terror proxy, with the okay, essentially, of the Lebanese government, which has never happened before. People don't realize that this is aligning people against, the actual issue, which is Iran. Now, the strikes in Iran were diabolical, all right? So this is after the oil fields got struck. Apparently, Trump wasn't super happy about this, but dude, it looks like actual Armageddon over there. This is insane. This is apocalyptic. All right, and it started raining oil for 2 days. In fact, the strikes were so bad, the oil... this is insane! The oil that's flooding through the actual sewers are on fire. So this is like what the roads in Tehran look like. The drainage systems are burning. This is insane. Now, obviously, leftoids are being like, you don't burn down the whole country just because you don't like its rulers. First of all, this isn't burning down the whole country. Second of all, I'm really glad that Mr. Ashok Swain over here has an opinion. The professor of peace, all right? I'm really glad the professor of peace has an opinion. But the Iranian people are happy. 80% of the people in Iran are celebrating the demise of the Ayatollah regime. So you could take your liberal, leftoid talking points bullshit and shove them straight up your own fucking ass. No one gives a shit about your opinion, sir. Quite literally, if you're a leftist and you're against this war, then you're retarded. We actually need to free Palestine, but don't free Iran from the terrorists. That's right, absolutely not. Now, at first glance, I didn't even realize this was the sewers on fire. I just thought someone's camel was going really fast down the road and left this in the back. Anyway, so the point that I'm trying to make is it's pretty diabolical. Now, Trump actually revealed some intelligence as to why he decided now was super important to start the war.
I just spoke to the President of the United States 20 minutes ago about the Gulf states and their involvement, and what he told me was this. Iran had thousands of missiles pointed at all these Middle Eastern countries for the last 4 months. They were going to take over the Middle East, meaning Iran. They were going to control it all, the UAE, Qatar, Oman, and Saudi Arabia. They had 1,200 missiles pointed at these countries. All these nations were afraid of Iran, and they are not anymore. And they had reason to be afraid. We have knocked the hell out of them like no other nation could, and they still have remnants left. Just wanted you to respond to that.
Well, this is why the president, one of the reasons I think why he did this now. Imagine, we're seeing how the Iranian regime is behaving now. Imagine if the president had kicked the can like so many of his predecessors had, and at the rate that Iran was producing these drones and ballistic missiles, had tens, if not hundreds of thousands years from now. That's the shield that Secretary Rubio has been talking about. Behind which
it was a brilliant military move, and seeing people cry about it is honestly the most cope shit I've ever seen in my life. Do not let the masses fool you, all right? Just because there's some guy that got 100,000 likes from Pakistani bots, all right, saying that Iran is actually the good guys, all right? Do not fucking fall for the shit, all right? Eyes on the prize. Pay attention. Use your own logic, all right, as to what's going on here. Just look at how Iran reacted to our attack. By literally killing their own people and attacking all of their neighbors. Like, these guys would have only gotten stronger. These guys would have always been a threat that needed to be eliminated, and Trump took the opportunity to do it now.
They would then develop a full-blown nuclear program, which we know they intended to do. They were not negotiating in good faith. The reason President Trump went now is because they're at their weakest point. And he's not the type of president to kick the can and let future generations have to deal with a much...
Especially because I think a lot of people don't realize. So this is the foreign fight. The domestic fight, I think, is going to even be bloodier. Because the reality is we have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of these people or people aligned with these people in our countries right now. And that's the ultimate scary part. All right, that's the next episode of this saga. It's dealing with the fact that we invited these retards in our countries, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But the reality is, imagine if Trump, in 2028, we get an AOC type character, all right, or a Gavin Newsom, right? You see what he did with the border and shit, and with oil in general. Right? People complaining about oil prices under Trump, dude. Newsom has fucking gas taxes and everything. All right, so imagine we got a retard like that, God forbid, all right, and our country's going to shit in real time. Borders open. Everyone who wants to come in is coming in. And then we lose our country. Because at that point, the domestic fight would be absolutely overwhelming, especially if it would be coupled with an activated, powerful, threatening Iran.
Much stronger, nuclear-armed Iran to then truly hold not just the region, but the world hostage.
Ambassador, they think Israel's the problem, but those Gulf states know Iran's the problem. I also asked the president about the right.
The major difference is I don't think Israel ever struck a country that didn't strike them first, whereas Iran is quite literally a terrorist regime that's just striking everyone.
It's an oil price.
Like, you'll notice on the border of Israel, right, there's Egypt, there's Jordan, and there's Lebanon. Why is Israel only attacking Lebanon? I don't know. Maybe it's because Hezbollah in Lebanon attacked them first. Jordan didn't attack them. Israel's not attacking Jordan. Egypt didn't attack them recently. Israel is not attacking them. Lebanon literally hosts Hezbollah, an Iranian terrorist group, and Israel striking them. It's almost like there is an issue in the Middle East, and it literally ties back to Iran 100% of the time.
Price is $100 a barrel. And he said this about the Strait of Hormuz. These ships got to go through the Strait of Hormuz and show some guts. There's nothing to be afraid of. They have no navy. We sunk all their ships and all but 20% of their launchers. What is your reaction and that message to the merchant ships, and that's the Gulf states too, to start getting that oil going through there?
Well, to the president's point, we've destroyed their Air Force, destroyed their air defenses, destroyed 80–90% of their launchers and missile capability, and sank their entire Navy. This is about, I think, emotion. It's irrational.
They're scared.
Eliminated the threat for these both merchant ships, and commerce needs to start moving. In addition to that, the Development Finance Corporation, led by Ben Black, the president and secretary, and he announced that we'll put insurance in place just as an additional safeguard. So these ships need to start moving. I understand from talking to Secretary Wright, our energy secretary, that what they call Suez Max, which is a super tanker, has moved, and we're asking the rest to follow suit. We'll give them the protection they need, and we are knocking the snot out of Iran's capabilities. But again, One more reason why we had to do it now and not wait. And
imagine if they were powerful, right? People are complaining that oil prices are up now, and it makes sense that they're up, and they'll be up for like another week probably. But the reality is, if Iran was actually super threatening, and that's when we decided that we needed to fight with them, then they would actually be able to close off the Strait of Hormuz. Then people wouldn't be able to go for a very long time. Then oil prices would be astronomical. I don't know, man. It's wild watching people cope about like the little things, while the reality is this is an inevitable battle that needed to take place. I see some people calling this not a war. Let's be realistic about it. It is a war. It's a war that Iran started 47 years ago, and Donald Trump is finishing it. That's right. We're kicking those smelly goat-fucking pedophiles into hell in real time right now, and they deserved it. It was a long time coming. Their seats were already reserved. We are merely filling out the reservation.
Till they had even additional capability to not just hold the region hostage, but the world's energy supplies.
Yeah, so anyway, realistically, this needed to happen, and it's happening now, when they're at their weakest, which is based as fuck. And I'm seeing a lot of people crying about it, and that's because they're gay and retarded. Or they ally with Islam, you'll notice, pay attention. Now, CNN made an insane report, all right, and
Overall,
this is wild.
Public and those who are either currently or have served in the military. Take a look at this Fox News poll that came out during the past week. Net approval rating of the current U.S. military action against Iran. Look at that. Overall, Fox News shows a dead even split. But look at those who served in the military. Significantly higher support for the U.S. military action currently going on in Iran.
But I was told that actually, because there was this one Palestinian activist Marine, the entire military was against this.
20 points. That should not be so much of a surprise, because take a look at how they view Trump's foreign policy overall. Again, look at those who served in the U.S. military versus overall. If you look at Trump's foreign policy overall, the net approval rating on that per Fox News, those who served in the military, they like what's going on average. Look at that. The net approval rating plus 8 points for Trump's foreign policy. But look at those overall. Way, way down there at minus 20 points. We're talking about a nearly 30-point gap between those who served in the military.
The people that understand war and the people that don't. Yeah, makes sense, because the people that don't are being propagandized by retard news stations that say, no, actually, since war bad, therefore all conflicts must be a terrible thing. Do you admit that war is bad? Well, then, therefore, you should be against what's happening. Wow, you must be, you must have gotten a degree in retarded groomer pediology. Yes, I have a master's in lib cuckery, and I've been told that war is actually bad. Look at this number. This is how many people died. Don't you agree that dying is a bad thing? All right, dude. Okay, we got the idea. Thank you, sir. This is why it's so unfathomable watching these quite literally silver-spooned retards stating their opinions on stuff with having absolutely zero comprehension on what actual conflict looks like. Dude, we live in such a pussified society that people think that casualties in warfare means that war should not be ever fought ever. A civilian died, so therefore the war is bad. Excuse me? They just massacred 35,000 of their own people, and you had nothing to say. Again, context matters, but not to these people. Emmanuel Macron, another agent of the Iranian forces, also president of France. I met with the Iranian president, Massoud Pezeshkian. I informed him that the safety and return to France of Cécile Keller and Jackie Paris, who are currently within the grounds of the French embassy, remains a priority for us. I emphasize the necessity for Iran to immediately cease its strikes against the countries in the region. Iran must also guarantee freedom of navigation by putting an end to the de facto closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Finally, I reiterated our grave concern regarding development in Iran's nuclear and ballistic programs and the entirety of its destabilizing activities in the region, which lie at the root of the current crisis. A diplomatic solution is more necessary than ever to address these crucial challenges, put an end to escalation and pause the prize. We agree to make. So this is literally what we're dealing with here, all right? Like, this guy got 4,000 likes and 4,000 replies, 2.5 million views. No one cares about what the French libcucks have to say. No one cared about what these hyper-radically pussified governments have to say about anything. I wrote a strongly worded tweet. We should actually make peace and diplomacy. Well, we've been trying diplomacy, all right? They didn't stop building nukes. They didn't stop building ballistic missiles. They didn't stop terrorizing the region and killing Americans. And therefore, they're all gonna die now. That's right, they're gonna die. You didn't get the memo, Emmanuel. They're gonna die. I appreciate that, Emmanuel, but I meant unconditional surrender of Iran, not of France. Yeah, dog, France, not even involved, finds a way to surrender somehow. Again, this is why no one has respect for these people. Like, these are not masculine men. These are like hyper-feminized, pussified people. Puppets and props sitting there, grandstanding morally, with the virtue signal ideology of, maybe we should just say we want peace with the radical Islamic terrorists that have been trying to kill us for the last 47 years and they showed no indication of stopping whatsoever. Maybe we should stop striking them while they're still around so that they can regroup and become a threat once again, and we'll need to do this again in like 20 years. Well, I think that's a fantastic idea. Again, this is why no one has respect for these people. And that is why President Trump actually made the right decision to obliterate these motherfuckers. All right, Dr. Jill Stein, who ran for president, by the way. Holy shit, if this is confirmed, this changes everything. And this is a post from a suspended account, but the post used to be a post of like tons of American soldiers being in chains and shackles by Iranian retards. Like, oh my god, did they just capture our entire military? This is an AI image as evidence, and it even had the Gemini logo in the bottom right corner of the image. Yeah, so this was an image. It's like, and again, we have literal retards sitting there and falling for the AI slop. Dude, Dr. Jill Stein was supposedly an important political commentator. She ran for president as the independent ticket, all right? Like, dude, these are the people that are saying, holy shit, this changes everything. The Iranian regime, literally riding camels, managed to capture our entire navy. Yeah, I'm sure they did, Jill. All right. Oh my God, breaking news. Breaking news. As you can see, this is an Iranian soldier on a flying carpet shooting down one of our planes. Oh my God. My sources tell me this was Sneeko. Holy shit, bro. We cannot, my sources tell me this was Sneeko. Yeah, all right. Anyway, so, and they keep doing this. So this is Stu Peters. Stu Peters, for those of you that need context, his entire content, he has like 1 million followers. He's unbuyable. His entire content is just that the Jews did all the things. I could just scroll randomly. All right, I could scroll randomly, and it doesn't stop. All right, it's all that, you know what, I'll just show you. I'll just show you the fun stuff. Watch this. This is awesome. This is how you know that you're dealing with someone who understands geopolitics. Type in Jews. All right, Jews, more Jews, Jew. You get the idea. Anyway, so Stu Peters said, Caroline Leavitt, Trump might institute a draft, and he shows this clip.
Mothers out there are worried that we're going to have a draft, that they're going to see their sons get in and daughters get involved in this. What do you want to say about the president's plans for troops on the ground? As we know, it's been largely an air campaign up until now.
It has been, and it will continue to be, and President Trump wisely does not remove options off of the table. I know a lot.
She's right. She's right. The president should never say what we're not willing to do just because you don't want Iran to actually feel like that there is a limit. You don't want Iran to get comfortable. So he's right. The president should never acknowledge what he's not willing to do in war.
A lot of politicians like to do that quickly, but the president, as commander-in-chief, wants to continue to assess the success of this military operation. It's not part of the current plan right now, but the president, again, wisely keeps his options on the...
Right, so everything's open, everything's on the table, but no, this is not part of the plan. That's what her response was, all right? The way this is repeated by Stu Peters, Caroline Leavitt, Trump might institute a draft. This was quite literally never said, right? Even in the community notes, Post claims to quote Caroline Leavitt. Leavitt never uttered this statement. This is not a real thing, all right? You even got retards like Marjorie Trader Green retweeting this. Like, oh my God, doesn't rule out a draft? Oh my God, holy fuck, these people are actually retarded. I'm not even kidding. Like, I was so right when I called her out months ago. I got shit for it, but I was so right. All these people ended up being backstabbing little bitches. She's never saying that we're gonna draft people, all right? Just that we're not ruling anything out publicly. We have no plans for it. Nothing's getting ruled out. All right? I am fucking done. There is no way I would send my kids off to fight for Israel. Way to shit on our own troops that are actually on the front lines, putting their lives on the line for our country to say it like this. But also, do you not read? Can you not listen to this post? She never says this. And they're all doing this. Breaking, Caroline Leavitt reports Donald Trump is not ruled out using military draft. Oh my God! This wasn't ever said. These people are all retarded. What are we doing? Like, they just lie. Like, again, and these are like the based right-wing people, right? But speaking of based right-wing people, Sneeko, who has been a massive pro-Iranian person on the internet, had this to say. A beautiful post of him with Jesus in the background in a mosque. That's weird. That's so weird. Well, why is Jesus on the wall of a mosque? I mean, quite literally, under Islam, if you worship Jesus, you're a kafar, because Jesus is a false god according to Islam and Christianity, and therefore all Christians are worthy of the death penalty. So it's pretty weird that he'd be on a mosque, unless converting the Hagia Sophia into a mosque is the biggest proof that Islam is a religion of barbarians. Because this is literally a colonized church. It was a church, and it was conquered. All right, Sneeko, the spiritual transvestite, blames everything on the Jews and screams about genocide, proudly visits the Hagia Sophia in Constantinople, Christian church taken from the Greeks after conquest and the Greek genocide, and turned it into a mosque. Hypocrisy is unbelievable. The vengeance will be the day the world remembers what happened to the Greeks. Greeks never forget. Dude, the Greeks were butchered by the Islamists, which is one of the major reasons why the Greeks are so closely allied with Israel, because they actually understand the threat. But dude, it's wild to me watching these people be like, I am against colonizing and taking land. I am against all of these things. I am against invading another sovereign nation. Literally goes to literal colonized, conquered churches that were converted to mosques after Islam wiped out the Christians there. Dude, it's honestly incredible. So Sneeko recently did a debate. I don't know who this Nick Matto guy is, but he fucking killed him. I have to show you a couple of clips because watching retards crash out is one of my favorite things ever. So this debate, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw a couple clips of it, and it's just been insane. So Sneeko's obviously arguing the pro-Iran perspective, and he is arguing the pro-America perspective.
Why do you support Israel if you're not Jewish?
You don't have to be. What? Are you Palestinian?
It's a simple question.
Right, I'm answering by asking you, are you Palestinian?
No.
Do you support Palestine?
I want them to be freed.
Okay, so you support them.
There it is! There it is! So you don't have to be Jewish to support Israel, you don't have to be Palestinian to support Palestine. I guess you're retarded.
Wrong question, good job.
Oh, yeah, it's as simple as that, sir. So Sneeko, he did not come off looking like he has an IQ of 135, mostly because he had an IQ of 80. Quite literally, he did an IQ test, and it was sub 90 or something. It was pretty humiliating. All right, and dude, every single thing this dude's been trying, he got fucking killed.
When did the war start? You said 48?
Yes.
In
1948, when the state of Israel was established.
1936, when they targeted and slaughtered 510 Jews. What was the reason for that if it didn't start till 48, Sneeko? Can you answer that without deflecting?
We're talking about this land, these people.
It was there. It was literally in the same land with the same people.
Literally, I'm talking about the exact same land, Sneeko. I'm not talking literally.
Now, I'm gonna answer the question because Sneeko refuses to. Obviously, it's because, and this is gonna shock you to your core, Muslims have been killing Jews and Christians for the last 1,400 years systematically. It's part of the religion. Quite literally. That's literally it. It's literally part of the religion. They've been massacring Christians and Jews. So the reason why in 1936 they killed 500 Jews was because it's part of the religion to kill Jews. Yep, it had nothing to do with Israel or Zionism or Jeffrey Epstein or whatever the fuck they're trying to push now. It's always been the same idea because it's a colonial religion and the concept is to conquer the world.
In Palestine. Why did they target and slaughter 510 Jews? You said, and I quote, it started in 1948. I wanted to make sure I heard you say that. So can you explain, without deflecting, can you explain why they did that?
No, we're talking about the states of Israel and Palestine.
Oh, so you want to purposely start it only on the convenient year for you, and you want to ignore everything before?
Because you will move. Wow. Because you are trying to talk about it's a conflict between two nations.
When did the war start?
It's not a conflict between two nations. It's just Muslims have been killing Jews for as long as Islam existed. Quite literally, the Khaybar Ya Yehud is like the original Mohammedan massacre of Jews. In fact, Sneeko crashed out so hard he ran from the debate in middle.
Check it out.
This
literally
is who you're listening
didn't
to.
say any of
this. This is somebody covering up for the most evil island that the world has ever seen.
It's bad that Khomeini massacred 35,000 of his own people. Oh, are you covering up for Jeffrey Epstein? These people are actually retarded. Dude, Jeffrey Epstein did nothing wrong under Sharia law. All right, just saying. And in case any of you are unaware, in Iran, they literally marry 9-year-olds. All right, Jeffrey Epstein's youngest victim was like 14.
Left, right, he's going to try to
shaking. Look at his hand, dude. Look at his hand.
Nobody can defend this. Nobody can defend this. This is who is pushing these lies. These types of people running cover for Epstein. The victims have not been vindicated yet. They've been lying about
They just killed 35,000 of their own people in Iran. And you have nothing to say about that? Jeffrey Epstein.
They've been covering it up. They haven't released the files, and now we're at war with Iran. The people who are covering up these files, they brought us into war with Iran.
Dog, Iran is literally the Epstein regime, okay? They have sex slaves. They literally had sex slaves, and they massacred tens of thousands of people, and they married women when they were 9 years old, all right? Like, dude, what are we even talking about? The worst atrocity in American history, arguably, Jeffrey Epstein, was not even remotely as bad as Tuesday under the Iranian regime. Right? People don't understand this. People need to put this into perspective because not all cultures are the same. All right? The worst crime in America is literally a daily occurrence in Iran. Understand how bad that is under this Islamic Republic.
For Israel, which would not
for Israel.
Pedophile blackmail.
As for those among your women who have a he skipped.
Right, so then he ends up reading from the Quran, and Sneeko runs away, of course, and then, of course, Sneeko obviously blocks him on Twitter because he got humiliated in debate. It's pretty impressive stuff, honestly. No, it really is. Sneeko's been having a really, one of those days of all time, all right? So this is him reading some Quran.
If you ever look up Jew in the Sunnah, so this is where we get hadith. He reported God's messenger as saying, "The last hour will not come before the Muslims fight the Jews and the Muslims kill them. So that Jews will hide behind stones and trees, and the stone and the tree will say, 'O Muslim, O servant of God, there is a Jew behind me. Come and kill him.' The only exception will be the box thorn, for it is one of the trees of the Jews." So saying in the end of times, the world will rise up so much that even a rock is like, yo, right there, get a rock and a tree. Hey, look behind you. Shmuley's behind you. Joking. W Rock.
Yeah, this is your pedophile religion. I'm happy you appreciate how honest he is about it. Yep, according to a pedophile prophet, this is exactly what's gonna happen. And then it's like, I wonder why people consider the radical Islamists bad guys. It's so weird. So essentially, that's become the new stance of like all these anti-war people, right? And I think it's pretty hilarious, dude. Like, on the left, you have all these absolutely brain-rotted retards that have empathy for terrorist, goat-fucking, pedophile mass killers that have been trying to kill us. And then on the right, quote-unquote right, people like Sneeko, his entire ideology is he actually wants Islam to conquer the world. And he's like, no! And he will use every single one of your morals against you. All right, Sneeko is pro-child marriage, but Jeffrey Epstein is a step too far. Obviously, we have to destroy America now. So again, understand who our enemies are. Understand who's actually pushing the propaganda. All right, like, I mean, for example, this is the Fight Back podcast. This is incredible. So this is Asmongold talking about the war because he's obviously pro-Iran because he's a normal person. I mean, he's pro the Iranian people as opposed to the Iranian regime, which has been torturing them because he's a normal person.
That's about a school getting bombed. Oh, a school got bombed? Yeah, I didn't see that. I mean, again, any time that I hear somebody trying to cry and get upset about like, oh my God, Israel and America bombed a school, Iran killed thousands of their own people, and nobody was really talking about that at all. So
he's right.
So, yeah, I mean, if a school gets bombed and kids get killed, it's sad. It's obviously a tragedy.
True.
But
tragedy.
It's collateral damage.
That's called war, my friend.
Damage in a war, and it's inevitable, number one. And number two,
yep, it's war.
You know, if they didn't...
A lot of these people, they just don't understand what war means.
Want that to happen, maybe they shouldn't have been funding terror groups and antagonizing a world superpower like America.
So... essentially, what Asmongold is really saying is, it's Iran's fault that Iran got hit. Because if Iran wouldn't have been trying to kill us for the last 47 years, Iran wouldn't currently be getting obliterated. And Asmongold is correct here, actually. That's right. 100% correct. Every collateral damage that takes place during this war, their blood is on the hands of the Iranian regime that forced our hand to obliterate them. And no amount of cocksucking, libtard, emotional blackmail is gonna convince me otherwise. Every single civilian in Gaza that died under collateral damage, it was Hamas's fault for starting that war, which is a proxy of Iran. Every single Iranian civilian that dies, it's a tragedy, don't get me wrong. But it is actually the Iranian regime's fault for forcing our hand to fight this war. I'm not going to be emotionally blackmailed by retards. And just to be clear, because retards are actually retarded, pure satanic to justify the murder of kids at a school. No one's justifying the death of these children, okay? You have to understand. We are putting accountability for the death of these children in the right place, which is the Iranian regime that forced our hand to start a war where collateral damage inevitably happens, you know, like in every war. And of course, the retard merchants are here. Asmongold is obviously Jewish. Look at his face shape. It's like Jerry Seinfeld. He even made a handle with the name Gold. Asmon Goldstein confirmed. Dog, I'm telling you, I love these guys because they're actually retarded. Like, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I feel bad for all the high IQ anti-Semites because, like, they're trying their best to fight some spiritual war or whatever, and all these low IQ anti-Semites show up and completely derail them. Like, how could you take the high IQ anti-Semite seriously when you have the sneakos of the world showing up? Those poor Nazis fighting an uphill battle. Worst mistake they ever made? Allying with the radical Islamists. It's truly incredible stuff. Anywho, Tucker Carlson says, "Pray that the spell breaks and the world is saved." No one knows what this means, aside from there's some evil oogie boogie magic satanic spell controlling Donald Trump, forcing him to kill terrorists that have been trying to kill us for the last 47 years or something. I don't know, man. It's almost like he's bought by also these Islam people. Now, the funniest part is, he had the same tweet as Ilhan Omar. "Israel has hypnotized the world. May Allah wake the people and help them see the evil doings of Israel." Tucker Carlson and Ilhan Omar are making the same tweets. All right, wake up, sheeple. Wake up. And this is what veterans are saying about Tucker Carlson. Yo, at Tucker Carlson, you know what's interesting? As a soldier, never have I ever thought of this, not once. This is referring to what Tucker Carlson said about how our soldiers are going out to fight wars to rape daughters and wives, which is the most unbelievable thing I've ever heard. As a soldier, I never thought of this once. Raping women of the conquered? Pretty sure we fight to prevent exactly that. You are legitimately insane. You lost the plot. People are like, what is going on? What is happening with these people? And now the thing is, we're actually fighting against the people that take sex slaves. Believe it or not. All right. Under Islam, you could take sex slaves from the conquered. All right. That's a different religion, my guy. 2 weeks ago, Tucker Carlson claimed Israeli President Herzog visited Epstein Island. Last week, Tucker had to delete the video because his claim was false and he released an apology video. 3 days ago, Tucker Carlson claimed Mossad agents were arrested in Saudi Arabia and Qatar planning bombs. 2 days ago, Saudis and Qatar said that Tucker Carlson was lying. Yesterday, Tucker said there's no evidence Iran tried to assassinate Trump. Today, a man was convicted of working with Iran to assassinate Trump. I don't know who's paying this guy. I don't know where his allegiance is, but it's not with the United States of America. Now, Marcus Rubius, first of his name, actually decided to drop by and drop a nuke. This is from today.
This mission are clear, and it's important to continue to remind the American people of why it is that the greatest military in the history of the world is engaged in this operation.
I'm so glad he's doing this because the media is making it sound like there's no reason for this war. We're doing this completely as a war of choice. Why are we fighting against a radical Islamic regime that massacred 35,000 of their own people and also has been directly responsible to the deaths of thousands of Americans, including the fact that they were deciding to develop nuclear weapons that they directly stated they were planning on using on us? Death to America was literally their slogan for the last 47 years. And the media's like, we don't understand it. We don't understand why this is happening. It's a war of choice. It's to cover up the Epstein files or whatever. So I'm really glad Marco Rubio is actually going on the news a lot, basically saying, let me remind you why we're doing this.
Is to destroy the ability of this regime to launch missiles, both by destroying their missiles and their launchers, destroy the factories that make these missiles, and destroy their navy. I think we are all seeing right now the threat that this clerical regime poses to the region and to the world. They are trying to hold the world hostage. They are attacking their neighbors. They are attacking neighboring countries, their energy infrastructure, their civilian population. They're attacking embassies. This is a terrorist government. This is a terroristic regime. And we are seeing them conduct terrorism using nation-state elements, using weapons like missiles and one-way attack drones. And the objective of this mission is to destroy their ability to continue to do that. And we are well on our way to achieving that objective every single day with overwhelming force, with overwhelming precision. The military, the United States military, the men and women in uniform are conducting an extraordinary operation.
That's right.
There are not a lot of cameras down there covering what they're doing, as opposed to some of the other images that you may see from some of the cities and capitals nearby. But I want everyone to know your military is getting the job done. And every single day, this regime in Iran has less missiles, has less launchers, their factories work less, and their navy is being eviscerated.
That's
and
right.
The world is going to be a safer and a better place when this mission is accomplished.
And the craziest thing is, I think a lot of people do know this, but they're lying to themselves because of ulterior motives. Either it's the Islamists, or it's the other fucking retards, or it's the anti-Israel people that care about that more than they care about America, or it's quite literally the Democrats that are, in my opinion, threatening our country's safety and sovereignty in order to get a one-up on Trump. And they're pushing this mass delusional psyop, a huge misinformation campaign that's being deliberately pushed down our throats by these people to make it seem like this war is either not going well, or it's not a just battle, or there's no reason for this conflict. And don't fall for it. Don't let them fucking manipulate you.
And we...
That's right. That's right. And he deserves the applause, because I'm really glad he's been doing this. Now, for those of you that don't know Bill Maher is a libtard, right? He is a libtard, and he has been also covering the Iran war, just like I have, just like everyone else has been doing. And before we get into, like, the Zohran Mamdani situation and the New York terror attack, I feel like it's super important to understand that there are some libtards that are like, why the fuck are we sad that we obliterated this terrorist regime that's been trying to kill us for 47 years?
Also, this week, war. Did you hear about that thing?
I heard, yeah.
We bombed Iran, and it's going on. Now, have you expected me to say I hate it? I don't. Sorry. When he puts boots on the ground, yeah, then I'll hate it. Now, I know too many happy Iranian Americans. Sorry.
Yeah.
And...
like, bro's like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Like, I get it. We shit on Trump every week. All right, that's the show. We turn on the cameras. We shit on Trump for an hour. That's the show. We know how it is. We know how to get ratings. But what am I supposed to do? He killed the literal fascist clerics or literal death cult that's been trying to kill us for 47 years and massacring their own people. What am I supposed to do here? Am I supposed to say he was bad? He did good. What do you want from me?
You cannot name one horrible thing that has happened in the Middle East in the last 50 years and not connect it to this fascist theocracy. They're like 6 degrees of they don't eat bacon. And it's popular. I mean, Iranians all over the world are doing the Trump dance. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's been pretty incredible stuff. And in fact, he did this show. This is Adam Schiff, leftoid, that was on Bill Maher's show. And again, this is how the left operates, right? They all basically suck each other off and talk about how bad Trump is. But, like, when objectively Trump is doing something amazing, right, what are you supposed to do? Unless you want to come off as, like, a completely disingenuous loser, like the Democrats have been doing. And Bill Maher ends his career. Like, in 1 minute, he ends his career.
This statement from the administration: the president had the constitutional authority to direct the use of military force because he could reasonably determine that such use of force was in the national interest. That's too vague for you?
Is that vague? Is that vague, Adam Schiff? Do you have any complaints?
Totally vague.
Totally vague. It's horrible. Oh, we hate it. The administration is fascist. That's why they didn't get congressional approval.
Okay, because that's from Obama.
The end of Adam Schiff's career on live television, killed by a leftoid. That's right. The libtards are eating each other, right? It's the liberals that are like, we actually don't want to die and get killed by radical Islamists. And then the leftoids that are like, I'm willing to die because of radical Islamists as long as I can get a one-up on Trump. That's literally the leftoid civil war that's going on right now.
About Libya.
Well, Obama made the argument initially that he could go into Syria without an authorization. I and many others pushed back on that argument. Ultimately, he did not go forward with going after Assad, even though Assad was gassing his own people, because he thought he might lose the vote in Congress.
So you mean to say that Obama didn't do the right thing because he was afraid that they might not like it if he did the right thing, and he was a complete and utter captive to the popular opinion? We know. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we know.
But I respect the fact that that was important to him, and the fact that he did not have the support of Congress meant that we weren't going to go forward. We are unquestionably at war now. The founders made an extraordinary decision at the time, which was not to give that power to the president, but to give it to the Congress, because they worried, I think, as Hamilton said, that a president would grow too fond of making war. After Venezuela, after the earlier Iran conflict, after bombing Nigeria and Iraq and Syria, he's grown too fond of this. And Congress Don, as you're saying,
he literally just read this guy a quote from Obama, said it's a huge problem, and then he went on a tangent after it was revealed that it was Obama. He's like, yeah, Trump bad. Yeah, I know Obama dropped 26,000 illegal drone strikes, but no, we don't give a shit. Totally vague. It's totally vague, guy. And bro didn't stop. I'm telling you, Bill Maher has been massacring leftists. He's been taking leftoid scalps on his show.
It's interesting. The second day of the war was yesterday, as we're talking now, the new Iran war. And the New York Times headline was, U.S. troops die. That was like what they led with. Now, that is a big part of the story, that troops have died. I mean, it's kind of a bigger story than that. Okay. But then in a country where I've read 80 to 90% of the people are thrilled that the Ayatollah is gone.
Yeah. You see parties in the streets.
What picture did they put?
Get ready.
Picture of people mourning the Ayatollah.
The New York Times is a literal campaign. It is a literal terror campaign. It is quite literally propaganda of the enemy. Like, understand what's going on. And he's totally right.
Which exists. But I can't believe that somebody at the desk didn't get, I've got a great picture of people dancing in the streets. Yeah, we're going to go with the people who, we're going to go with the 10% who are sorry the Ayatollah is dead. Because that's going to funnel the thought
That's right.
of our readers toward, oh, this is a bad war to get
Quite literally, he's totally right.
into. Yeah. Now, we can talk about whether it is or it isn't. But that, to me, is the difference in what the media does now and what they didn't used to do.
Quite literally, the media is the propaganda arm of this globalist, leftoid organization. All right, and the moment you wake up and realize it is a moment that you will finally start to actually understand what's going on in the world. All right, when you read enough of these articles, it'll make you sick when you see that. So Donald Trump tweeted this from Drew Pavlo, a friend of mine, actually. This story is absolutely insane. Senior Iranian regime propagandist threatened to have members of the Iranian women's football team killed because they didn't sing the national anthem at a game in Australia this week, because they're against the actual Iranian regime that had massacred 35,000 of their own people. The women were then basically held under armed guard in Australia by Iranian officials to prevent them from escaping. They were even seen making SOS signals on their team's bus. Get ready. The Australian government inexplicably dragged their feet on saving them right until the last possible moment. 5 girls just escaped and claimed asylum. The rest face a flight home tomorrow to persecution for not singing their anthem. This is the same Australian government which wants to import literal ISIS members from Syrian prison camps. They've been spending the last month trying to get ISIS brides back on planes to Australia, but they had to be dragged kicking and screaming to protect 5 women fleeing Islamist persecution. Donald Trump made a separate tweet about this. Australia is making a terrible humanitarian mistake by allowing the Iran national women's soccer team to be forced back to Iran, where they will most likely be killed. Don't do it, Mr. Prime Minister. Give them asylum. The U.S. will take them if you won't. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, this sounds like Donald Trump is a man that's actually worried about the civilians getting killed, as opposed to what the media makes it seem like, that Trump is killing the Iranian people, which is obviously fucking delusional if you understand anything about the reality. Now, the thing is, Australia is also caught in this vice grip of cuckery, where these retards are just sitting there and they're being like, I believe that all cultures are equal, so therefore if the Iranian regime said we should give them these women back, we'll do it. Okay, they'll execute them, but that's their business, and they're a separate culture. We don't question or value their judgment. Well, crikey is what I have to say. That shit's retarded. These fucking lib cucks are sending these women to their deaths. All right, and they know that that's what they're doing, but they're doing it anyway because they don't want to step on the toes. They don't want to call another culture inferior, God forbid. Please, an inferior culture. I can't believe that. Well, wake up and smell the fucking coffee, retards. Some cultures are inferior, including the Iranian regime, which we are working very hard to make less inferior by killing them. Just in, oil prices back under $100. Well, that was a tough 11 hours. Again, everyone freaking out that oil prices are going up. Well, they're down again, so that's pretty insane. And now we have to talk about what's been going on in New York. So, Mamdani looked at this video and opted to blame white supremacy. All right, this happened yesterday in New York. This is an Islamic ISIS terrorist in New York City holding a bomb, lighting the fuse. He throws it at the cops. Thank God it didn't detonate. This guy needs to be hanged. This is a terrorist. He needs to be hanged immediately, and his entire family should be denaturalized and deported. Pay attention to what we're bringing in our country. All right, this is over the last week in America. All right, in America, not Middle East, not in England. All right, in America. Muslim shoots up a bar in Texas, 2 dead, 14 shot. Muslim lights Molotov cocktail, throws it at Christians in New York City. Muslim throws nail bomb, shrapnel IED at Christians in New York City. Muslim tries to bomb Southwest flight Nashville and Fort Lauderdale. Muslim throws IED shouting Allahu Akbar at anti-Islam protests in New York City. Muslim makes bomb threat on plane, forces emergency landing in Atlanta. Muslim background guy drops bomb threat in Kansas City airport. Explosions hit the U.S. Embassy in Oslo in Norway while tensions skyrocket. Jihadist threats exploding against U.S. churches right now. This week in America. And then Muslims be like, why do they hate us? What's with all the Islamophobia? I'm sorry, man. I'm starting to notice a pattern. All right. Speaking of, this is the massive delay in airports across the United States. All right. Every airport in the United States is jam-packed because there have been unbelievable threat levels of explosives on planes. So weird how this is happening while we're literally killing terrorists. That's insane. Breaking: Kansas City International been evacuated due to a serious incident, which is reported related to a credible bomb threat to the airport, and it was revealed that it was from an Islamist. All right, look at this shit, dude. This is insane. Like, we don't need to live with this. This is, by the way, an issue of our own making. Because the empathetic libcucks told us we needed to bring these fuckers into our country. I'm sorry, I'm not, if this is rude, but this is literally the correct opinion. And look how insane this is. Mohammed Hijab, he is a British guy, or at least that's what he calls himself. It's interesting how many Western media outlets loudly condemn the Iranian regime for brutalizing protesters, yet fall strangely silent when civilians are killed indiscriminately by the U.S. or Israel. Because that didn't happen. Because you are a lying fuck. It seems outrage isn't really about who is being killed. It's about who is doing the killing. Well, the reality is Western media outlets are all screaming and crying about indiscriminately killed by the U.S. or Israel. It's just that doesn't happen actually at all. Through the course of this war, the Gaza war, the Islamists have yet to substantiate one actual credible allegation that civilians were indiscriminately killed by the U.S. or Israel. They have yet been able to prove that at all. There have been collateral damage. You know, it happens in war. These wars, which, by the way, have all been started by Islamists, for the record, in case you were paying attention. So those wars started by Islamists will always inevitably have civilian casualty as collateral damage. You know, that's what happens when wars happen. But this is a lie. There has been zero evidence of any indiscriminate killing by the U.S. or Israel so far. But yes, brutalizing protesters, that's literally substantial numbers. 35,000 plus people massacred by the Iranian regime for existing. All right? No one was indiscriminately killed. But again, to these guys, it doesn't matter. Because to these guys, we're the enemy, we need to be destroyed, and they will use our liberties against us. Pay attention to how this works, all right? They don't believe in the values they spout. They would support the massacre of America and Israel and Europe, all right? They would support that. Death to America, death to Israel, you know, it's the same shit. They support the mass extinction of our people. Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. But they will use our liberties against us, saying, but bombing people indiscriminately is a war crime. Yeah, anyway, so here's a moment of a jihadist in New York yelling Allahu Akbar and throwing a bomb in New York City. Outside, and then tell everyone else. I think this is a perfect video. All right, so here we have, this is literally cinema. So here we have a leftoid screaming about how we need more immigrants. We need more immigration. Outside, and then tell everyone else. Stop yelling about immigration. And then you have an immigrant yelling Allahu Akbar, throwing a bomb. Absolute cinema. Like, you could, this is actually picture perfect. Insanely picture perfect. All-time photo. A protester shouting about the pros of immigration interrupted by an Islamic terrorist throwing a bomb jumping over him. It's like, hang it in the Louvre, motherfucker. That shit's insane. All right? And breaking, it turns out that device that was thrown was not a random little oopsie-poopsie device. It seems like it was an actual bomb.
Fox News has learned of a disturbing development involving the type of explosive used in the attempted attack and just how dangerous it is. Let's bring in retired NYPD Inspector Paul Morrow, who has more information on this device that was found. So it was a homemade device, Paul, but not necessarily a cheesy one, in other words.
No, not at all, John. And I have to tell you, having done about 15 years worth of this kind of work, counterterrorism work, this is a bit of a game changer. First of all, let me start by saying New York City got extremely lucky yesterday.
Yeah.
TATP is enormously volatile. It is not very stable. It's extremely powerful. And it is the footprint, and if you go by past events, of serious bombing attacks. The London 7/7 attacks, Richard Reed's attempt on a plane. Many of us remember the Ariana Grande attacks outside the Manchester Arena. These are situations where you're well into double figures of people killed, never mind injured. So this was a very, very serious attempt, much more serious.
Dude, God is literally sending us all the warning signs, and we're just putting our fingers in our ears. God is warning us at the threat in front of us. He like, this dude tried to kill us, and for whatever reason, the fuse went out on impact, all right, instead of actually detonating. God is screaming at us, and we're plugging our ears with our libtard empathy.
I would argue than it likely seemed to many right initially. And as to why they didn't detonate, in light of the fact that they were charged the way they were, is going to be something I'm sure that the federal authorities are going to be looking at very closely as they investigate these two perps.
Yeah, and hats off to the New York City Police Department for running in and stopping those attacks.
Legends.
They didn't just run away or go to a place of safety.
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at, they didn't know what they were into there. All they saw was something that was smoking. For all they know, this thing is extremely powerful, but they ran towards it. Look, that's what your instincts are as a police officer. That's what you're supposed to do, but that doesn't mean it is any less heroic. So hats off to those guys, and thank God the devices didn't detonate.
Literally.
It really comes down to now, why? Was it an incomplete chemical formula?
Anyway, and then they're going to look into it, all the details, why didn't it detonate, etc., etc. But essentially, it was an incredibly volatile device similarly used by Al-Qaeda and ISIS. So again, this is the shit we're dealing with in New York. All right, so this guy breaks down the story. All right, and then I'm going to show you Zohran Mamdani's response, because it's honestly even worse.
As the war continues overseas, we're now seeing in sanctuary cities like NYC, peaceful protests having attempted explosions.
God, we have to abolish sanctuary cities, man. We have to realize the enemy's here, all right? We're being warned!
By you-know-who, shouting you-know-what. As Freedom News TV...
Yeah, you're not allowed to say it, because you get demonetized on YouTube. Trust me, I know. Definitely subscribe, because if you're not subscribed, you might not be seeing my videos.
He shows us these completely organic, not paid for protests in
mass-produced signs. That's so cool.
New York City that the mainstream media wants you to think was just anti-war.
It's an anti-war outcry.
They're literally such liars. Like, you can't be able to do this shit. Like, it's insane. Anti-war? Get out of here.
Are holding signs, if I can show you a little bit, holding signs that say no new war, hands off Iran.
Completely missing the vigils they're holding.
Bro! I didn't even know they did this. They had vigils for Khomeini? Oh my lord, holy fucking shit. Bro, we need to set up security. Get Palantir on the phone, okay? Alright, get the Mossad on the line. We have to track down every single person that went to cry at these vigils, denaturalize, and deport all of them. They are literally allying themselves with an enemy military. Quite literally, they need to be denaturalized and deported. All of them.
Holding for a religious dictator,
oh my God,
oddly appearing to receive police protection.
So weird. You mean to tell me that a Muslim mayor of New York City is protecting the Muslims crying over the religious, radical, terrorist, pedophile, dictator, mass killer that's literally at war with us? This is insane, bro. Like, this is... They're actually traitors.
Chanting for the end of American soldiers.
Make us proud! Al-Qassam, you make us proud! Another soldier now! Another soldier now!
Like, these guys, denaturalize and deport. That's my stance, all right? Listen, I've said this for a long time. Every single person illegal in this country needs to get deported. Every single person legal in this country needs to be investigated, all right? Illegal immigration, that's one issue. Legal immigration, that's where we actually have to start stomping down. Dog, we need our next president to be an actual savage. Like, Trump's doing great overseas, but he's not doing enough domestically. Like, these fuckers are literally living among us, poisoning us. And we can't tolerate this.
Al-Qassam, you make us proud!
Now, there were Americans chanting USA, but the NYPD appeared to protect the Ayatollah's activists.
Guys, look, it's a straight white male preaching the Ayatollah's gospel.
This is a common theme we've seen a lot lately. Angry anti-American activists chanting for the death of us, being strangely protected by Mayor Mamdani's NYPD that eventually ends in Americans being arrested.
You mean to tell me that a Muslim immigrant in charge of a city is turning the city against our country? Who could have thunk it? Absolutely diabolical.
As the local coppers eventually faced off
Dog, what the fuck?
with these
What is that sign? We are Jeffrey Epstein? Oh my god. Dude.
leftist activists, all wearing masks dressed in black. So when the mob attacks, the NYPD has their back.
That's insane.
Stop it! Stop it! You're gonna hit me, motherfucker! Hey, don't touch me! Hey, I'm touching back! Come on, come on!
Dude, that's insane. Dude, the cops are actually fighting on the side of the terrorists.
As this wasn't even the only instance of this.
Bro, what? This guy was attacked and he got arrested. This is what happened in London. This is what happens in London under a Muslim mayor, suspiciously enough. Dog, we're getting colonized.
You, white boy. You're white too. Now you're finally. What am I doing? You're gonna get hurt.
It's sad how much the leftist mob knows they control the city, as the cops keep telling the Americans to stop and—
Dude, these people are like the useful idiots of Islam, putting them in our country. These fuckers. This is insane.
antagonizing the masked
Disgusting,
mob,
dude.
as it's only going to make them attack. But you know what else would stop these violent attacks? Actually arresting the violent masked men. But sadly, after electing a left-wing socialist mayor, the left-wing mob knows they have immunity from Mamdani's police. Now eventually, a conservative activist arrived with a whole lechon.
Hey, you're not gonna do on your mouth, you see that?
Yes! Yeah, they showed up to Mamdani's house with a whole ass pig.
Beta, Jesus Christ. I'm smarter than you. You measure things in terms of whiteness. I'm more white than you. I have more money than you.
Interesting how that angry dude, for one, embraced being a beta, but also inferred it meant he was smaller, richer, and whiter. As whenever white liberals get caught in the moment, they always seem to subtly reveal their own racism. But I'm a little less worried about modern day leftists and how they see their superiority, and more concerned about their enabling of actual terror attack.
He's totally correct here. And the thing is, I've said this for the whole time. I think feminism is the core issue in the Western world. All right, it's this idea of hyper-feminized men that are just complete pussies. Like, it's unbelievable. Now, those guys, one of their fundamental issues with those guys is that they vote to bring in retard terrorists into our country because, hey, they don't want to be racist. They don't want to be racist. Yes, they would support the death of every single person that voted for Trump, but they'll literally embrace and open their arms wide for foreign terrorists.
You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else. Bro.
And after throwing the first device, he's later seen casually lighting another.
Oh my god.
Before finally being chased down by PD.
Insane. Yeah, insane that this happened, by the way. But think about how much this will increase Islamophobia.
It's insane how quickly this escalated. From paid-for protesters holding paid-for signs, getting police protection, to chanting they want the demise of American soldiers overseas, then actually tossing what could have been anything into a crowd while shouting something meant to make you think it'll explode. And I don't think it—
And it would have exploded if God didn't intervene and put out the fuse. That was incredibly volatile devices used in ISIS attacks.
Get to this point without the police politely allowing them to attack Americans, only arresting them when they defend themselves, as Jake eventually had to get a police escort out.
This is the New York City Police Department. You are unlawfully obstructing pedestrian traffic. You are ordered to disperse now to permit the safe flow of pedestrian traffic. If you do so voluntarily,
but it still didn't stop the mob from attacking his car.
Literally, these people, like, the fact that they're not arrested for this is insane. Like, every single person kicking this car needs to go to jail. It's unbelievable that this is normal. It's unbelievable that this is the new normal for the left. Like, we are dealing with a domestic terror threat in our country, and no one wants to do anything about it.
Get up! No! Get up! Get up!
New York City doesn't even look like America anymore, or it really seems
so weird. They elect a Muslim mayor, and all of a sudden this happens. Probably a coincidence.
Like it's only gonna get worse. As how did the corporate mainstream media report on this?
Oh, dude,
simply
I saw this.
brushing it off as a smoke-generating suspicious device.
Really, bro? Really? An ISIS-style bomb is a smoke-generating suspicious device?
With ABC writing, one arrested for disorderly conduct, another arrested for pepper spray, then saying two were accused of throwing a device.
A suspicious device! Oh my god. Dude.
Immediately stating no injuries. Wrapping it up with, this anti-religious rally was caused by a known agitator.
That is fucking crazy. Dude, I said this before. Antifa is just the militant wing of the left. The media is the propaganda wing of the left. The left is an anti-God global movement that hates Western civilization and is working with every fucker in the third world to try to destroy us. Pay attention, man.
And after I recorded the video, they've confirmed it wasn't just a smoking device, but a pipe bomb.
During protests outside of Gracie Mansion, from which footage of suspicious devices has been circulating on social media. Organized by individuals associated with far-right provocateur, a counter-protester, identified as Amir Balat, an 18-year-old man, lit and threw an ignited device.
An 18-year-old man. A male of nebulous ethnic background.
Toward the protest area, and gets a second device from a man tentatively ID'd as Ibrahim Nick, 19 years old. Mr. Balat lights the device and starts running with it. He then drops the device on the west side of East End Avenue. Based on preliminary examination and X-ray imaging, the devices, which were a bit smaller than a football, appear to be a jar wrapped in black tape, importantly with nuts, bolts, and screws, along with a hobby fuse that could be lit.
There is a honest, moderate way to report on this, as it is fair to say Jake is an agitator of a certain religion, but then don't completely omit how they tried to end him in what appeared to be an attempted terror attack. That's not even stretching the—
Appeared to be. It was an attempted terror attack. It was a Muslim terror attack. People are just fucking scared to say it. The guy yelled Allahu Akbar, threw a fucking bomb at people. What do you want me to say? This was a Islamic terror attack on New York soil again.
The truth they somehow choose for you to be oblivious to.
Yeah.
Like how that flight to Florida got diverted to Atlanta so SWAT could sweep in.
Yeah, I covered this. Yeah, I covered this yesterday. But the point that I'm trying to make is, like, this is retarded. Retarded as fuck. In fact, alright, you thought there were only 2 bombs? Well, thank God the police got him before he threw the 3rd bomb. They found a 3rd bomb.
Avenue between 81st Street and 82nd Street, we have been told that officers have located a 3rd suspicious device in a car.
Dude, this could have been an unbelievable mass casualty event if it would have played out just an iota differently.
That is thought to belong to one of 2 suspects who were taken into custody yesterday in connection with 2 other suspicious devices. So now we've got a total of 3 suspicious devices that have been uncovered here in the Big Apple. And we know at this point from high level...
I don't see the left blaming MAGA for this one. That's weird.
sources and from the NYPD.
Oh, it's Islamophobia that did it. Right. Nothing causes Islamophobia like Muslims killing people. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, the number one cause of Islamophobia is Muslims committing terror attacks. Have you noticed the correlation between Islamic terror attacks and Islamophobia?
That at least one of the devices that has been confiscated is a
Weird.
confirmed IED. Fox has been talking to high-level sources all throughout the day, and we actually learned today that one of the IEDs that was taken into custody yesterday had an explosive called triacetone triperoxide, or known as TATP. Fox News contributor Paul Morrow talked about this earlier today, and he said this is an explosive that has been used in other high-profile, deadly
ISIS and Al-Qaeda attacks. All right, but for some reason, we're just not supposed to even talk about this like it's a terror attack. Now, here's the crazy part. These two Muslim terrorists, because it's really tiring when people are just like, they're just guys. No, they're not just guys. They're Muslim terrorists. They committed a terror attack on New York soil again. This happened before, but they forgot apparently. Never forget. Well, they forgot. They elected a jihadist. Are we surprised? Well, get a load of this one. I think this is a real radicalizing moment because I'm here to radicalize you. A lot of people say the alt-right pipeline, blah, blah. I am trying actively to radicalize you by showing you simply the truth. All right, get ready.
And Ibrahim Qayyumi are now reportedly in federal custody, being interviewed by the FBI. In connection to the devices, our Bill Malusian has learned that Balat's parents are naturalized U.S. citizens from Turkey, and Qayyumi's parents are naturalized citizens from
They're
Afghanistan.
citizens. They were born here.
One of the suspects was captured saying this as he was taken into custody.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Yes,
So the confirmed IED, the one that we know has been tested and confirmed to be an explosive, well, that was thrown yesterday afternoon outside Gracie Mansion during a clash of protest.
Yeah, a clash of protest. I hate when people describe it like this. This is a terror attack. I don't care. I don't care if it was an agitator. I don't care if the anti-Islam guy was a bigot, white nationalist. I don't care if he was a fucking neo-Nazi. All right? Ultimately, he has freedom of speech. He has the legal right to be Islamophobic or anti-Semitic or racist or bigoted or whatever the fuck. He has the legal right and legal protection to do that. And while I don't necessarily agree with all of his stances, I will fight for his right to have them as an American, okay? You know what you don't have the right to do? Throw a pipe bomb at him. This is not a clash of protesters, okay? This is a guy doing something legal and Islamic terrorist trying to blow up a city block because of it. We can't equate these in any way whatsoever, and I'm tired of making believe it's even remotely acceptable to do so. Now, here's the real shocker. These guys, not only, they weren't naturalized citizens, their parents were naturalized citizens. These guys, these terrorists, these ISIS-style terrorists, were born here. All right, let that sink in. All right, that means a generation later, and they didn't integrate into American society to the point that they're fucking throwing ISIS-style pipe bombs into civilian areas. Pay attention to what's going on here. It's almost like people of specific backgrounds do not actually want to assimilate, and they're here to conquer. Pay fucking attention. So while I say that every single illegal alien needs to get deported by ICE, I don't think that's up for debate. We have a country, we have borders, we have laws. You break those laws, you face the consequences. I don't give a shit how you're deported either, all right? Because you had the ability to self-deport. So if we want to deport you by throwing you over the border with a trebuchet, I fully support it. Absolutely. Get them the fuck out. They shouldn't be here. Now, that's for the illegal aliens. For the legal immigrants, all of them need to get investigated if they're actually assimilating or integrating into American culture. And if they're not, I would support getting them the fuck out of here, because we have these guys, and I'm sure there's more of them that think exactly like them. Welcome to Zoran Mamdani's New York City. Well, get a load of this one. I'm told by federal law enforcement sources the New York IED suspects Amir Balat's parents are from Turkey, were naturalized into U.S. citizens in 2017. Ibrahim Qayyumi's parents are both from Afghanistan. Mom naturalized in 2009. And Congressman Randy Fine says we have a massive legal immigration problem in America. And this is when you wake the fuck up. All cultures are not the same. All people are not the same. Some are different. Some, yes, I'm sorry, this is going to shake you to your core. Some cultures are inferior. And some of them don't need to be brought here under this mask of empathy where we're supposed to make believe it's normal that these retards are here trying to kill us. And of course, this is how the New York Times describes it. You know, the New York Times that describes the Iran war as, oh, the poor people mourning the death of Ayatollah Khamenei, right? So this is how the New York Times said this one. Smoking jars of metal and fuses thrown at protest near mayor's house. This looks like someone tried to kill Zoran Mamdani instead of a Zoran Mamdani supporter trying to kill a Christian protester. All right? Look how insane this is. I think that's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Smoking jars of metal and fuses. It was a fucking pipe bomb. Thrown at a protest near mayor's house. Makes it look like the mayor was the victim, and he wasn't. He was not. All right? Now, this is pretty insane. These people are in custody, and thank God they were brought into federal custody. Not local custody, not state custody, federal custody. So, no Zoran protection. These fuckers are going away.
Emir Balat and Ibrahim Qayyumi are reportedly in federal custody.
Yeah, that's right.
Interviewed by the FBI
Good.
in connection to the devices. A source tells us both are U.S. citizens, and right now we're monitoring more police activity in an area of New York City's Upper East Side near where the devices were initially thrown yesterday afternoon. Cameras captured 6 total people taken into custody yesterday, including one of them who said, Allah Akbar.
Yeah, probably a coincidence. Probably had nothing to do with his religion. He was probably just a tortured young man, right? He was probably just mentally ill. Yeah, he was mentally ill. We see who he worships. Anyway, this is where they live. All right, so if you want to get radicalized a little more, while y'all are fighting your asses off, these guys lived in a fucking mansion. All right, pay attention to who's raping our land. All right, understand where we're at. Y'all struggling to pay rent. Well, let's see where these guys have been living. All right, these guys, all right? Unbelievable, beautiful, beautiful. All right, Americans can't afford rent, but these guys, legal immigrants. Yeah, they're really integrating into American culture and stuff. Now, the New York Post is reporting that Muslim terrorists who hurled bombs in New York are ISIS in America. But Mamdani and his fellow Democrats think we should be worried about Islamophobia. We should be afraid of Islam. We need to get these people out of our country. I'm so glad that people are actually saying the thing that needs to be said for the first time in forever. All right? Saying there's a legal immigration problem is quite literally shifting the Overton window so much it's diabolical. So Nick Shirley actually went to interview this guy over here. He went to interview Jake Lang after Zoran Mamdani made a statement. This is one of the worst statements I've ever seen in my life. Look at this one. Yesterday, this is the mayor of New York City, Muslim Zoran Mamdani. Yesterday, white supremacist Jake Lang organized a protest outside Gracie Mansion rooted in bigotry and racism. Wah! Wah! Well, wake up, motherfucker. You're allowed to be a bigot and a racist in the United States of America. I'm tired of this pussyfooting shit, all right? You can hit me with all of your random empty word slogans, your fucking leftoid virtue signaling. That shit's over. They threw a bomb at him, right? You could criticize him all you want. They threw a bomb at that guy. Such hate is no place in New York City. Excuse me. So let's get this straight. Zoran Mamdani, an immigrant to America, is throwing people that were born in New York out of New York because their values don't align with yours? And this isn't even me supporting Jake Lang's opinions or anything, but who the fuck are you? Deuteronomy 30:19. We welcome the foreigners into our land until they eventually take power from us. This is exactly what we're looking at. This guy, not an American, fundamentally, comes in not with American values, does not assimilate, gets elected because of votes from foreigners, and is immediately saying that you have no right to be in our city. And he did no crime. He committed no crime. He didn't violate any law. But because you are predominantly a Muslim guy, you want to kick him out of your city. It is an affront to our city's values and unity defines who we are. Who the fuck are you to talk about what defines who we are? Throwing people out of cities for their opinions does not define who we are. This is America, where we have balls, all right? And if you don't like what someone is saying, you can close your fucking ears. Like, I'm so tired of this virtue signaling cuck shit. What followed was even more disturbing. What happened? Violence at a protest is never acceptable. Who did the violence? Was it right-wing people doing violence? Both sides, maybe? Was it left-wing violence? The attempt to use an explosive device and hurt others is not only criminal, it's reprehensible and the antithesis to who we are. Who did that? Who did that? He doesn't even say. All right, so notice, Jake Lang is a white supremacist. All right, such hate and no place in New York City. All right, Jake Lang, white supremacist. Notice how he doesn't say, the other guy named Ibrahim who screamed Allahu Akbar and threw a bomb in an Islamic terror attack. Now, notice how he doesn't say that. He's just like, violence followed. It was bad. I want to thank the brave men and women in New York Police Department who acted quickly to keep New Yorkers safe. Our officers ran towards danger without hesitation, demonstrating once again the courage and dedication it takes to protect the city every day. My administration is monitoring the situation. I'm sure it is. And it is pleasant to see that the replies are killing him. Your wife saw these images of the worst massacre and mass murder of Jews since the Holocaust and left likes on the Instagram posts. That actually did happen, by the way. I covered that in my previous video. Here's what you left out. An explosive was thrown by Muslims. They were shouting Allahu Akbar, Emir Balat, and Ibrahim Nick. Now, notice how he'll name the white supremacist racist, but he refuses to even mention that it's an Islamic terrorist attack. Refuses to even mention the names of the people that committed the terrorist attack. But I guarantee you, if it was a terrorist attack committed by Jake Lang, he would be more than screaming from the rooftops about Islamophobia. This might be one of the worst statements I've ever seen in my entire life, all right? White supremacist Jake Lang and some violence at a protest. Yeah, all right, dude. Anyway, so Nick Shirley interviewed Jake Lang after this.
It goes beyond political violence. This is religious violence, first and foremost. And second of all, what we need to understand is we voted in a Muslim mayor to New York City 2 months ago, and we've had the first Muslim terrorist attack on white Christians outside the mayor's home. People need...
Actually, that's true, but not the first. There have been a lot of Islamic terror attacks in New York since the mayor showed up. People just don't really report it. There was a car that ran into a synagogue. There were shootings in a synagogue. A Jew was strangled on a subway. A Jewish girl had her skull shattered by someone threw a rock at her into a bus. A foreigner, an illegal alien who got deported, actually, after all that. I could keep going and keep listing instances of this happening, but this is not the first Islamic terror attack. It's just the most noteworthy.
Need to understand there's a correlation here. These things are connected. We are not safe in New York with Zoran Mamdani, the Muslim, as our mayor. He is, by his very ability to be there, he is basically sponsoring and influencing and telling these people, go out and declare jihad. By not condemning it, he's basically saying more jihads against Christians like Jake Lang. And it's...
Look, man, I'm not going to say that he's not spitting here. I mean, he's kind of completely right. I mean, that's what the religion seems to say. I mean, if you actually follow the letter of the law, that's what's going on. It's kind of weird. All right, so Nick Shirley was talking about how New York City Mayor Mamdani won't condemn terrorists.
So today here in New York City, the Mayor Zoran Mamdani called protester Jake Lang a white supremacist, but he failed to mention that the two men who threw literal bombs at him are two Muslims, and he didn't even call them terrorists. He actually didn't even condemn that. But meanwhile, here in New York City, you also have all these people. This is the famous Canal Street. And look, now they start freaking out because I put a camera on their face. But they sell all this stuff, counterfeit goods. Meanwhile, all this madness is happening here in New York City. Nothing ever gets solved. They let criminals do whatever. Whether you say this is criminal or not, it is. They're selling fraudulent goods.
And so let's understand this. Here you have an entire street of illegal aliens that broke into our country illegally, selling counterfeit foreign goods. It's illegal to operate businesses on this street. But you have all these people doing it in broad daylight. They're welcome in the city. Jake Lang has an opinion that Zoran Mamdani disagrees with. Well, that guy needs to get kicked out of our city. So deportations are fine as long as you're deporting the white people. Got it, Zoran. Very cool.
Not paying taxes on it. Meanwhile, you're working hard right now, but these guys are able to make loads of cash and pocket it all in their pocket without ever even having to pay tax. So then watch, as soon as I put a camera on any of these fraudsters, these scammers, watch how they just freak out. How much? Show your face? No face? How come? How come? Look, they make lots of cash. They know they're doing stuff wrong. That's why they won't show their faces here on camera. And they're making...
Notice how it's not white Christian males doing this.
Thousands of dollars. So...
Not a lot of Zionist Jews doing this shit.
You have a mayor who's not willing to call terrorists, who are literally throwing bombs in the city of New York City. They have a bomb squad there right now, checking out everything because of how bad it is. Look, how much? How much? How much? Why? What's wrong? What's wrong?
Look, this is perfect. I love that this is caught on camera. Here you have someone illegal in the country telling someone that was born in the country to get out of here. It's so blatant and obvious, man.
You doing something wrong? See, they know they're doing stuff wrong. That's why they all freak out. No, I'm all right. Thank you, ma'am. They know they're doing stuff wrong. That's why they freak out. And you really do have a lawless New York City right now. You have a mayor who's not condemned.
Except it's not lawless. It's just under a different form of law. Like Sharia law, for example.
I mean, anything. Only thing he is condemning is a protester. He's a Christian protester. You might not agree with all his tactics. I agree. Some of his tactics are a bit wild. But he calls him a white supremacist, but he won't call the terrorist. That's a little crazy.
It's a little crazy indeed. We noticed, actually. We're noticing how this keeps happening. It's kind of insane. So this is Zoran Mamdani, mayor of New York, doing a little press conference to respond. And it's unbelievable that it keeps getting worse.
Of us were home at the time. This was a vile protest rooted in white supremacy entitled Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City.
First of all, shouldn't the headline be Islamic terrorist attack takes place in New York City? 3 bombs found that could level a city block or some shit? Volatile devices used by ISIS and Al-Qaeda thrown at peaceful protesters? Nope, that's not how he starts. White supremacy is the problem here.
I'm the first Muslim mayor of our city. Anti-Muslim bigotry is nothing new to me, nor is it anything new for the 1 million or so Muslim New Yorkers who know this city as our home.
Good shit. So no need to talk about it. It's not new.
While
yeah, a lot of anti-Muslim bigotry started when Muslims killed 3,000 New Yorkers a couple years back. Any of you remember that?
Found this protest appalling. I will not waver in my book.
Okay, all right. So you disagree with their opinion. I find when you scream "globalize the Intifada" appalling. In fact, I think it's literally criminal. You're literally calling for violence to start killing people in the streets. But they don't care. All right, listen, I find your protests appalling. You call for the murder of innocent people on the streets of New York when you globalize the Intifada. All right, I think when you say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, you mean kill all the Jews between the river and the sea, which means all the Jews in Israel need to die. That is exactly what it means. There's no other interpretation. But I find it appalling, but you have the right to say it. It's disgusting, sure. It's evil, yeah, whatever. But you have the right to say it. So I don't care what you find appalling at all. I find the fact that there was a terrorist attack on New York City, and you are literally not condemning the terrorists as a major issue here.
Belief that it should be allowed to happen.
It shouldn't be allowed to happen? What, peaceful protests aren't allowed to happen? Why? Why can't peaceful protests happen? You are the king of peaceful protests. All right, what are we doing here?
Ours is a free society where the right to peaceful protest is sacred. It does not belong only to those we agree with. It belongs to everyone.
All right, beautiful.
I will defend...
So why are you starting your entire thing condemning a peaceful protester?
...that right every day that I am mayor, even when those protesting say things that I abhor. Let me also be clear about something else.
All right, here we go. Get ready.
New York City will never tolerate violence, whether from protests or counter-protests.
All right. Why do you mention that? Did something happen?
Counter-protesters met this display of bigotry peacefully, with a vision of a city that is welcoming to all. But a few did not.
A few as in dozens that were kicking the car and pushing him and elbowing him and harassing him. All right, that's the few.
2 men, Amir Balat and Ibrahim Kayumi, traveled from Pennsylvania and attempted to bring violence to New York City. They are suspected of coming here...
What did they do? Did they, like, kick him in the shin?
To commit an act of terrorism.
There we go.
There is video of these 2 individuals throwing 2 devices towards the protest. The police department has determined that these were improvised explosive devices made to injure, maim, or worse. Thanks to the swift and decisive actions of NYPD officers at the scene, both men were immediately taken into custody.
Yeah, there was a little oopsie-poopsie, almost some violence, but he really condemns white supremacy. Mayor Mamdani started off his press conference on Monday about the ISIS-inspired attack on Saturday by condemning white supremacy. It's honestly insane, bro. It's the craziest fucking shit in the world. It's wild, dude. All right. Mayor Mamdani's statement calls Jake Lang by name, calls the shrapnel bomb an explosive device, doesn't name the 2 suspects, Ibrahim and Amir Balat, doesn't use the word terrorism. It's honestly incredible stuff. Downplaying that shit. Jake Lang, on the contrary, he's only gotten way bigger by all this.
Vilified, and they won't even name the perpetrator of a mass terrorist attack on the NYPD.
The 2 officers who stopped the attack. What do you have to say to that?
God bless them, but did he name the name of the person who tried to kill them? What about? Okay, so yesterday in his tweet, did he name them the word. He failed to name them, but called me a white supremacist. 18 million impressions on it. I am a pro-white American. America was founded by white people, and they need an advocate. We are disappearing. We are being displaced. We are being replaced. I have hate in my heart for no one, but I have love in my heart for the home team. I was born a white American New Yorker, and I stand for white American New Yorkers. They deserve a home in this city. They deserve to be able to speak their mind on the streets without having bombs thrown at them.
I mean, he called him a white supremacist. Why? The position of not getting bombs thrown at white people is white supremacy. This guy's like,
I stand for Christians. In America, saying that Jesus Christ is Lord is apt to get you killed by a Muslim. And the mayor, instead of addressing the issue, will obfuscate the truth, completely disavow. He will not even say the name of the radical Islamic terrorist, but he says white supremacists showed up for bigotry and we deserve to be murdered.
Whoa, we got some Secret Service. Whoa.
Zora on the ground, the Muslim terrorist. I pray the name of Jesus Christ's blood over you in this city. New York and America was founded as a Christian country in a Christian city in a Christian state, and we will remain.
Right there, man.
Zora, say their name.
He's running away.
White Americans built New York, Zoran, and you're destroying it.
God damn, holy shit. Yeah, so anyway, the white supremacist position of not wanting Muslims to blow up white Americans. Like, dude, you like that? Wow, I've never seen such white supremacy. So Mahdi Hassan decides to say Jake Lang was pardoned by Trump for his role in January 6th. Yeah, because he was arrested as a political prisoner. Okay. I'm trying to imagine the right's response if Joe Biden pardoned a violent criminal, convicted criminal who turned up to a violent protest outside the home of Ron DeSantis. What are we talking about? Right? He wasn't arrested as a violent criminal. He was arrested as a political prisoner because the Jan 6th arrests, they arrested him as like an insurrectionist terrorist, all right? And they threw him in a fucking hole for years, all right? Not even remotely the same as a violent convicted criminal. That's one. Two, he didn't turn up at a violent protest outside the home of Ron DeSantis. He went to peacefully protest. It was a Muslim terrorist that turned it into a violent protest that threw a fucking bomb at him. Like, this is insane. So Mehdi Hassan, a American citizen, God knows why, he also needs to get deported, in my opinion. He is literally co-signing terrorism here. He's basically running defense for the people that threw fucking bombs at the guy by saying, imagine the right response. He didn't show up at a violent protest. It became a violent protest because they tried to kill him. Like, this is unreal. But I'm not surprised, because Mehdi Hassan actually supports the Islamic grooming gangs in England. So am I that surprised?
We know that the very vast majority are actually British Pakistanis.
So hold on.
You're trying to deflect it into thinking it's somehow white men doing all this.
Oh my God. So in Glasgow, there were white men. So 11 people abused 3 children, one of them in a nappy diaper.
I'm not talking about Glasgow.
You're not talking about that, nor is Elon Musk. In the West Midlands,
why are you upset that there are mass rape gangs of Pakistani Muslims raping white girls? Why do you care about the million white girls raped by Pakistanis when a white guy was a rapist too? Classic Mehdi Hassan move.
West Midlands, a decade of child sex crimes. 21 white people abused 7 children, all of them under the age of 12.
Right.
And they're in jail.
Cornwall in 2010.
These
3
aren't
years
the
of sex
scandals we're
crime. You're
talking
cut me off
about,
when I talk
Mehdi.
about sex crime.
Are you upset? Are you upset that there are mass Islamic rape gangs? Are you upset that despite the fact that Pakistanis are only 6.5% of the population, they committed, get ready, 97% of the gang rapes? That's a real number, by the way. 6.5% of the population, 97% of the gang rapes. All right? There's a rape in London every 54 minutes. And he's like, why are you upset at Muslims when actually white people rape also?
Well, I'll get to that in a moment. 6 men abused 30 girls, the youngest of whom was 5 years old. And you've just made my point for me. These are the scandals we're not talking about. Why? Why are we defining child sex crimes and grooming gangs by race unless you're a racist or trying to make political hay out of it?
You're a racist. How dare you wanting to stop 97% of the grooming gangs?
I care about the victims of all crimes.
Fucking bullshit, dude.
I don't give a damn.
Didn't give a damn about the 35,000 protesters that were massacred by the Iranian regime.
And whether the perpetrator was brown, black, white, blue, or yellow. I think we should support the victims of those crimes. And if you're
Me too. All rapists bad, but also immigration is a problem.
Only obsessed with the perpetrators, as Elon Musk is, as Robert Jenner is, then you don't actually care about these girls. That's what Alexis J said.
But
this
the
week
argument,
on the
as you
BBC.
know, the
Care
argument,
about
as
the
you know,
victims.
yeah, the argument, as you know, from those who do want a big further inquiry, is that actually it was a very specific section of the community, a very specific section of the Muslim community, and it was British Pakistani men who they believe were operating under some warped cultural thing, which they felt entitled them to behave this way.
That's not proven, right? That's what we need.
It's not proven. Yes, it's true that 6.5% of the population did 97% of the gang rapes, but it's not proven that it's actually cultural. All right, dude. All right, dude. Keep co-signing Islamic rape gangs, my guy. No one's surprised. All right. It's not proven. It's a coincidence. It's a coincidence, guys. It's just a coincidence that 97% of the gang rapes are done by Pakistani Muslims in England. Just a coincidence. Yes, sir. So, and this is Mehdi Hassan freaking out, crashing out, calling America worse than the Nazis for attacking Iran.
Just from the sort of geopolitical strategic point, like on day one, to have this and to have the rhetoric being into the region, we don't care if you live or die, to not make the distinction between like civilians and combatants, just also strikes me as like
retarded.
Wildly self-defeating at just the sort of tactical level.
So this is completely retarded for multiple reasons. One, obviously, there is a difference between civilians and between the actual military. Obviously, mistakes happen. Obviously, collateral damage happens. That's a war for you. I guess Iran shouldn't have been literally fucking trying to kill us for 47 years. Oopsie poopsie, it's all on them. I'm tired of this grandstanding and emotional manipulation. All right, quite literally, fuck these guys and their emotional, grandstanding, virtue signaling piece of shit garbage. All right, every single casualty, civilian casualty in Iran, their blood is on the hands of the Iranian regime. All right, every single one of them, just like the deaths in Gaza, are on the hands of Hamas, who started the fucking war. I'm not getting into this entire hullabaloo, trying to get gaslighted and manipulated into saying that it's actually America should never fight our enemies because our enemies use human shields and the civilians will die. So therefore, you have to let them kill you. All right, let them continue to rape you because if you fight back, someone might get hurt. I'm sorry, man. That's not how the world works. That's not how war works. But making believe that there was no differentiation made is a lie. Anyway, back to the retards.
The sort of tactical level.
Yes. It's a moral abomination, and yes, it's tactically stupid. They bombed.
It's because it wasn't done intentionally. Right? Even if it was an actual American missile that bombed that school in Iran, it was not intentional. It was collateral damage in a war. Tragic, absolutely. But that's what happens in war. A war which only happened because Iran decided to terrorize us for 47 years.
The submarine and just let the sailors drown to death.
Oh, this one's awesome. I love this.
Going again. Even the Nazis didn't do that during World War II, apparently.
America is worse than Nazis because when we attacked their navy, we didn't send in little rescue teams to rescue their people from drowning. Motherfucker. We told them not to get involved. We told them they would get immunity if they decided not to fight us. They decided to fight us and they died in war. And now we're worse than the Nazis. That's right, worse than the Nazis. That's America, so leave. Why the fuck is he here to morally grandstand on us? Like, I can't stand this shit. All right, so go live there. If they're better, why are you here, man?
Even the Nazis collected people from the water. This is insane rhetoric.
No. It's insane rhetoric to say that America is worse than Nazis because America decided to kill Islamic terrorists that have been terrorizing us for 47 years.
Insane behavior from people who don't give a damn. Donald Trump has never given a damn about Iranian lives. I see people in the diaspora cheering.
So, again, not true.
On this war, and I feel bad for them because Donald Trump.
Oh, yes, all the delusional Iranians that are celebrating Donald Trump right now. They're just all dumb, all right? They should be celebrating the Ayatollah, the terrorists that were massacring their people for the last 47 years.
Trump screws over everyone, and he's going to screw over the Iranian people as well. He's a guy who has deported Iranians back to that government to be tortured or oppressed. He doesn't.
So they are torturing and oppressing people?
care about the Iranian people. We're seeing that with this war.
Because he is caring about our country. Like, again, you could care about two things. Like, on the one hand, we care about America. On the other hand, we don't want the Iranians to be tortured by this Islamic regime.
You cannot bring, I thought we learned this, Chris, decades ago. You don't liberate people at the barrel of a gun with bombs.
No, the barrel of the gun is pointed towards the dictators, not towards the people. But again, he doesn't care because he is actively playing defense for our enemies. In my opinion, anyone that does this, even if you're just a political commentator, you are allying yourself quite literally with an Islamic regime, and this dude needs to get denaturalized and deported. I am so over the line with this shit. I'm tired of it. I don't like the idea of bringing foreigners into our country so they could fucking ally themselves with the regime trying to kill us. I'm tired of it. I don't like it. He needs to go. They all need to go. I'm tired, bro. I'm tired. Or we're going to end up like London. All right. Historic first. Historic first. Calls to prayer blaring out for Ramadan at the London stadiums. Isn't that beautiful? Historic first. Yeah, historic first. Wow, colonized, absolutely. Yep, that's the historic first. When a king puts invaders before the people, he is no longer their king, and that's what they're doing now. There it is, colonization, historic first, guys. Great news, isn't this nice? Well, you'll love this one, all right? Because in France they do it too. I wonder why Keir Starmer and Macron from France are all on the side of the Islamic terrorists. Well, let's see what this French imam has to say.
Si la femme s'est parfumée, elle n'a pas le droit de sortir dans cet état-là. Et lorsque
What he's saying is, I'll translate, what he's saying is, if the woman has perfume, then it's her own fault for getting raped in public by Muslims. She should have stayed home.
tu te trouves sur le trottoir, ma sœur, n'oublie
If you find her on the sidewalk,
pas de raser les murs. Laisse le milieu du chemin aux hommes et toi prends le bas-côté. La fitna
she should stay in the corner.
de la mixité est terrible. Dans un hadith unanimement authentique, je n'ai pas laissé après moi de tentation plus néfaste pour les hommes que
There's too much of a temptation for the men.
les femmes. Tu es dans le devoir d'interdire.
Feminists fighting forever about how actually, just because we're tempting you, it doesn't mean you're allowed to look at me, all right? Can Muslim men control their urges to rape women wearing perfume? This French imam says no, they can't. So he orders women wearing perfume to isolate indoors and not provoke Muslim men. Happy International Women's Day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really glad this is what you're voting for. All right, good job. Good job voting for this to come into your countries. Just in, a criminal explosion struck a synagogue in the Belgian city of Liège at 4 a.m. local time Monday morning in a violent act of anti-Semitism. In quotes. In quotes. In quotes, violent act of anti-Semitism. I mean, what? Yeah, Muslims blew up a synagogue, but, like, it's just a quote-unquote violent act of anti-Semitism. Kinda weird how this keeps happening. So while we fight our enemies justly overseas that are trying to kill us, we also, thank you for your misplaced empathy, feminists, very cool, decided to import people that want to kill us in our own borders. Now, illegal immigrants, they all have to go. That's not up for debate, and we shouldn't even engage that with a normal discussion. Every time someone hits you with statistics, you just answer with the fact that we have a country, we have borders, we need to enforce our borders. That's literally it. You came in illegally, you have to go. We have to have a country that's sovereign. Every country is allowed to be a sovereign country except for ours. Because we're a good country, and because our country has a strong military, for some reason we have to literally kill ourselves and import people that want us dead? No, actually, we don't need to do that. And it doesn't matter how much, they're just running away from issues. Yeah, well, we have our own issues, okay? We're trying to figure that shit out, all right? So every single person in this country illegally has to go. That's not up for debate anymore. Our enemies that are trying to kill us, they have to die. That's also not up for debate. We have the most powerful military in the world. If you want to be dumb enough to try to kill us, then fuck it, man. Your funeral's going to be swift, and it's going to be bloody. Where the debate actually does need to be is, what are we doing about the people that are citizens in our country that did come here legally, that quite literally are not willing to integrate into civil society and are trying to kill us? That's exactly where the nuanced discussion needs to be, and it's the thing that no one's even willing to talk about. It's, for some reason, a taboo. Killing people that are trying to kill us? That's obvious. Deporting people that are here illegally? That's obvious. But start engaging the discussion. What are we going to do with the people that are literally on the side of our enemies in our borders? This is why so many people call me far-right, alt-right. Yeah, the alt-right position of not wanting me and my family to get raped to death by third world people that are allying themselves with terrorists overseas instead of our actual nation and our people. The alt-right, far-right position of allying myself with the hobbits and not the orcs that are trying to rape us to death. So yeah, anyway, that was today's really mega ultra deep dive. Hope you've been enjoying the styles of videos, the mega deep dives lately that I've been putting together. Definitely subscribe. And for more short form content, like 10-20 minute long videos, feel free to check out my other channel, Taku. Here we're doing deep dives and deep dives only. I'm trying to keep the content stellar, and I've been really appreciating all the support in the comments. You guys have been unbelievable and incredible. Sorry for the lack of streams lately. Life's been very busy and difficult and stressful. But I'm trying my best to make sure the content keeps coming. My stance is very simple in regards to a lot of things. If they're trying to kill you, they're gonna die. That's not having a lack of empathy. That's just being man enough to say the thing that needs to be said. See you in the next one. Bye! Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.